a solid clap right there. Don't do that, bro. Well, what's up, guys? Welcome. We're so glad that you're joining with us as we just talk a lot about the service this last weekend, which, by the way, if you haven't watched last weekend's message, you should go back and watch that now. It's on our YouTube, so you'll know what the heck we're talking about. We're in a series called Relationship Goals, and this week, when it comes to relationships, we think a lot about dating, but this week in particular, Griffin, who's our Walnut Creek student pastor, preached about friendships, which are way more important than relationships because there's a lot more of them. I don't know if they're more important, but there's a lot of them. So, friendships important. What did you guys think?
Yeah, friendship's important. So many good things that I thought about with that.
I can tell. I mean, they're just flowing out of you right now. You're like...
friendships, yeah. So one of the things that really stood out to me that Griffin was talking about is it was actually more towards the end, but he was talking about how a good friend carries your burden for you or helps you carry your burden, and you as a good friend are open to carrying your friend's burdens. And I think that's so important because I know that in this season of either middle school or high school, I know a lot of you out there, you have what I call friends. They're just really air quote friends. And it's just people who pretend like they're super close to you, but they don't actually care about what's really going on in your life. They don't care about the hard stuff. They don't care about the difficult stuff. They don't even want to hear about it. They just want to like have fun and be dumb and whatever and do stupid stuff. But those aren't real friends. Real friends actually are there to carry your burdens for you and with you, that you can lean on and who can lean on you. And so I thought that was great. That's really awesome.
That's good.
Yeah, especially because it's like in this day and age, you have like your Snapchat streaks, but are they really your friends?
Right.
Snapchat streaks.
I don't know if that's so cool.
Those are like this. Snapchat streak. Yeah, okay. Got to keep it going.
That's so funny. We had students that actually had people keep up their streaks while they're at camp because they knew they weren't going to have service.
My sister did that. She's like, I had my friend do it, because it's like a full-time job, It's like house sitting, You need to have somebody always watching the house.
That's good.
Oh man,
is that the mark of a true friend? By the way, if somebody keeps your streaks going for you when you're not there.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess it's still a cool thing.
Dang it.
Oh man, I really did like Griffin's sermon, and it spoke a lot to my story of like. Once I went through my hard times, and my story is like I knew the true friends from the flakes. I knew the friends that I can count on. Yeah. And I love how it's like in reverse too. Are you that good friend? Are you that person that's stepping up? But another thing that I wanted to also talk about was he didn't really talk about much. What do you do when you have those bad friends? What do you do now that we know, now that we can tell, okay, a good friend is a friend that's got your back. A good friend is the one that is patient and loyal. But what about those bad friends? What about those people that are leading you away from God's plan?
Yeah.
You want to talk about that?
Ditch them. Cut them out of your life.
Right.
Bye.
No, that's huge. And I think that to define what those bad friends are, because it's like, oh, they just don't have your back. Like, I have a lot of bad influence people in my life that still have my back, right? So, like, how do you identify what those friends are? And I think it's people that are going to push you to compromise your character, right? Or compromise, like, to push you past where you're like, I know that what they want me to do isn't right. I know that where they're asking me to go, what they're asking me to say, how I act when I'm with them, all those things.
How you dress.
But I still do it, right? Like I'm going past what I know I shouldn't do or what I don't even normally do unless I'm around them. Like if those are the kind of people that you're hanging out with, that might be a sign that's a bad friend. So acknowledging those bad friends, I think that's huge.
Right.
And then if I don't want to just keep talking and say too much, but I think that when you identify those, you could just like cold turkey cut them out of your life, or you can also make that conscious decision of like, I'm going to start limiting the way that I hang out with them and in what context that I hang out with them.
Yeah.
Because I think we're still called to love people, but that doesn't mean allowing them into those parts of their life where they can hurt you, or they can influence you in a bad way, where you can maybe change the way that you hang out with them so that you can influence them and still be their friend without just like, get out of here, but not allowing them to drag you down.
Yeah. That's so good. I think you took a breath as I didn't see you, but I heard it. Did you have something you want to say?
You talk.
Dang it, I'm going to keep going. Darn it. I just heard So
It was probably going to be
yeah.
better than what you said anyway.
I'm sure it was. That's why. But
It's
no,
okay.
I think that's so good. And I just so that all of you who are watching know, I've had friends. I'm sure all of us could say we've had friends who were not good influences, but we still cared a lot about them, and it was really hard to know how do you handle that situation. And like Todd said, if there's someone who's compromising your character, what do you do about that? How do you go about that? And because as we're following Jesus, we're told like you're supposed to love everyone and you can't turn your back on people and you can't turn away from people just because they don't fit in your box. But what does that look like with your friends who you've known since first grade and now you're in 8th grade and you're like, but Tommy's my best friend, but he always makes me like jump off of bridges and stuff.
Well, and we just said like a good friend is one that has your back. So does that mean that if you turn your back on them, you're not having the back of those friends?
Exactly.
You know,
like,
Exactly.
Yeah, I love how you like stress that idea of like it's hard. Like this is not easy.
Yeah.
Like I've had those friends and you've had those friends. We've all had those friends and it's not an easy decision to say like okay, I've got to like do something about this. And yeah, I don't know. I lost the spot I was at.
I'm sorry. See,
it's okay.
I cut you off and I totally messed you up.
No, it's good.
I'm gonna jump back in and maybe
Go.
you'll remember.
Yeah.
You what you were saying, what Todd was saying, it brought back a lot of memories of friends that weren't good influences for me. And for those of you who know my story, and if you don't, it's still on the YouTube channel. The crazy thing about the internet is you can like go back and watch anything.
Yeah.
It's on there forever. So in my story, I was talking about how I used to be wrapped up and trapped in this world of drugs and what I would say not being a good person. And to this day, I would still say like I'm not a great person, but God still has grace on me, and that's awesome. But in those days, with those friends, there was a point where I had to decide: am I going to continue allowing these people to compromise my character, or am I going to grow out of that and change from that? And if I'm being totally honest, initially, I don't think I handled it super well. I don't think that I knew the right steps to take to actually go about those conversations and fighting for my own character and fighting for myself the best way, because I did cut those people off. There wasn't even really a conversation that was like, hey, you know, I love you, dude, but this is where my life is headed, and if you're going to continue to push me in the opposite direction, I'm not sure that I can continue hanging out with you. And that's what I should have said. But what I did was move 3 states away. And so that's how I handled things. And it wasn't a good thing, but it was me trying to fight for myself the best way that I knew how to. And ultimately, that's what all of us have to do is how do you fight for yourself, fight for your character so that it's not compromised when there are those friends that are pushing you in the opposite direction that you want to go.
And really what you're doing in that is you're fighting to follow Jesus.
Yes.
Right? So you're saying this person is not allowing me to follow Jesus in the way that I should.
Right.
And so, you know, I don't want to make it sound like it's all about us, but what it really is, it's all about us following Jesus and pursuing him. So it's like, man, we got to move past that, which in some cases, maybe it is just cutting someone out completely, you know, and making sure that is your focus is like, man, all of this stuff can be wrapped up is who is it that you're putting yourself around that's going to push you closer to Jesus or push you farther away. And again, I'm not saying you can't hang out with anyone who's not a Christian, because you should be hanging out with people that aren't Christians,
Right.
but for the purpose of helping to point them towards Jesus and not allowing yourself to be drug away from him as well.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
That's
I mean,
it. That's
Totally.
exactly
Yeah.
it.
Totally.
Yeah.
Well, any other final thoughts from you guys before we
I
wrap
definitely
this
wanted
up?
to talk about, I feel like, especially because I'm a girl and I love people's opinions, and I am always like caring about, okay, is this the right decision? Like, should I be doing this? And I have a solid best friend that loves Jesus, that follows Jesus, and that I'm able to like ask her, like, is this a good thing? Should I follow this and should I not? And I think with you guys searching for the right friends, like, let's find those friends that are solid and that you can come to with those decisions. Like, friends aren't always there for you, you know, like got your back that way.
Right.
But they are people that we can go to for questions and things like that. I don't know if that was,
No, that's great. I think finding those people is what Griffin was talking about. It's what you and Todd have been saying and what we all agree on. And I can think of so many people in my life who, after I learned the difference between a bad friend and a good friend, and as I'm still continuing to learn how to be a good friend, but those people who are good friends to me really stand out because they were there in my most difficult times of life, and they didn't have judgment, and they didn't just turn away from it and go like, I don't really want to hear about this. I want to like hang out and do something fun. Let's just move on from your low place in life. Like, you're kind of bumming me out right now. No, they were actually there for me. And in exactly what you were just saying, they didn't just help me out, but they pointed me back to Jesus. And that is what makes a really good friend and what all of us need. So if you're out there and you're like, I don't know if I have that, try to be that and seek out those people who are in your life already who could be that, and you might not even know it.
Boom. That's good. That's good stuff.
That's good.
So I want to invite you guys, if you stuck all the way through this, amazing. Thank you for being here all the way to listen to this. And I want to let you know that we're going to continue in this series, Relationship Goals, with this weekend's message. You're not going to miss it. This Sunday, we're actually talking about sex. All right. I know we've led up to this. It's pretty awkward. It's intense. It's weird. It's whatever. But we are talking about sex, and it is still church. You're not going to want to miss that. So this Sunday, we will see you at our service virtually, but we really want you to be a part of that. And then also, if you have any questions about this whole series, about relationships, friendships, dating, sex, any of those things, please send them to us. Let us know, because we're going to wrap up this series with answering your questions. So we want to hear from you. What is it that you want to know about? We want to answer those. But thank you guys so much for sticking around and being a part of this. This series hopefully is helping you as much as it's helping us as we talk through it. So thank you guys a lot. Peace.